Welcome to our Ascension show. We are going live today and we want to go through a few more things. This is Celeste. Thank you for joining me. I always just jump right in there. Welcome to, I think this is Friday the 13th, and what a beautiful, beautiful number. 13 is the number of divine feminine for me. That's what 13 means for me. And now that we're moving into 13 dimensions, it's a very auspicious day. So we're very happy about the number 13 joining us today. We did have some sequencing of events that we wanted to complete from our video the other day, as well as we've just got a few other channels that Mother, Father, and Commander Ashtar have given me. Hello, sweetheart. And we wanted to go over those channels because I didn't get to them last show. So we're just going to do some review today. We're going to see what's happening in, I'm going to open up to channels, see if there's any mediumship messages that are coming through from Gaia, from any of the beings that want to channel today, because we're going to be talking more about our clairs, the gifts and skills and talents that we have as we're opening up as multidimensional beings, and then how that has to do with our sequencing of events. So yeah, so let's get on with this beautiful topic today. So we're going to talk more about the clairs. So let's talk about just our random notes that we had from last time that I didn't quite get done. And that was from Commander Ashtar and Mother, Father, God, the channeled notes that we had from, I think, 2 videos ago. So if you go back to our videos, I always suggest going back to our videos and just setting the intention to make notes on any codes, gifts or skills or talents or memories or downloads that are going to come to you as you're listening to the audio. Or you can, let's just listen to the audio as you're cleaning the house and doing your chores, because you also get those activations when you're just letting things kind of take its place and take its time, which is what we're going to try and allow to happen when we're going to talk about sequencing of events, because it's kind of an oxymoron. Sequencing of events, the sequencing meaning that it does have some sort of order, an order of operations, if you will. But we want to soften into it, as most of you that have been on the path of ascension for quite some time will understand and know that, in living by the code of allowance, and that is part of the 3 A's, in which we're not, we're trying to and intending to get away from blocking our day of many appointments and blocking our day away from keeping track of time, because as we move more into 5D, it will be a release of time and space through which we're just going to be living more in the presence of now. And why it's so important that, you know, we focus on that divine sacred heart in the middle, because that's how you neutralize any energies and any experiences that you're moving through. And it just becomes masterful that you do that. It just navigating from that place within your center of your heart, and just allowing the presence of now to be that place of time and space. And so we want to just soften that and give you that prelude of, you know, the sequencing of events might sound structured and organized, but they were offering it to me that it is an order of operations of energy, of quantum energy, of how the universe wants to delight you. And it can be from whether you live within a negative space or a positive space. The sequencing of events can be a negative sequencing of events or a positive sequencing of events. And so it's just a matter of allowing yourself to understand the quantum makeup of all creation and source creator of omnipresence. And there's always going to be that quantum experience. But the sequencing of events will dictate and play into your capacity and aptitude to simply be present in the moment of now, and understanding that you're setting your vibration, your intention, and your direction just softly and playfully, and heeding on those creative expressions and explorations and living as the sacred child. You're going to have more and more magical moments of sequencing of events. And those sequencing of events are just those miraculous momentary experiences through which all of creation, source creator, and all of the beings that are, you know, living and acting and behaving and loving within the space of these new omnipresent energies, moving back and forth between all of the alchemic movement of the multiverse. This is just one universe if we're talking, and whatever the vibrational threads are in dimension. And as you're activating your DNA, the DNA of any one person that's being activated, that codon is then allowing for all of creation to be shifted and adjusted just by one codon of one person being activated. So it's quite spectacular on how your shift of light and your shift of the activation of DNA affects all that is. And they're just showing me, thank you, Holy Spirit. And this is the Arcturians. Arcturines are just showing me they're on the light ship now. So I've asked for just random channels to come through from the systems of light. We thank you very much. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And if you just like to sit with a straight back and your hand on your heart, anytime that I channel any of these energies, you'll always have your spirit guides and your teams around you. And so because we are talking about our gifts, our skills, and our talents, you being as a multidimensional being, you can also open up to who you are as a multidimensional being and just pay attention. We want you to get you to pay attention to your body by calling the multidimensionality of all that you are into the center of your heart. Call back all your light, call back all your energy and attention so that you can begin to feel yourself as a multidimensional being and start feeling the loving energies that are around you as spirit guides and teams, because we're going to be practicing this on every one of our videos to get you used to understanding who you are as a multidimensional being, what you exist within and what exists within you, therefore expanding your capacity and aptitude daily. And that's why I suggest, again, going back and listen to the videos a couple of times and make notes so that you can practice your expansion, your exploration, and your evolution of who you are as a multidimensional being. So thank you, Arcturines. So they're showing me right now. And if you close your eyes, you can use your third eye to see what your teams are tuning you into. But my third eye is showing me the Arcturians coming in, and this is just how I thread with them when I'm getting a vision. This vision right here would be the Arcturians, and they're threading me up to what they want to show me. So there's many beings in my field. The systems of light are in my field. Mother, Father, God are always within the center of me, and then the systems of light, the galactic federations, are always just floating around with little. They're little sparks, and then it's just a matter of me tapping into that spark and then opening that thread, because it could go anywhere. They want to thread me anywhere for the exploration and the experience. Sometimes God will take me on these experiences where I'm just moving through the universe, and He'll take me to a certain space for me to see what I thought was there might not be there. So they want to open up my mind and they want to allow me to be more exploratory. So that's what your teams will do as well. But it's all these little dots of light that are waiting in your field for you to connect with, but it's up to you to go in and push the elevator, as we always said. The elevator's always there. Are you going to get in and push the button? And so all of these energies are always in your field for you to connect with and entangle with and engage with. And that is the most important aspect of humanity's degradation and de-evolution, is because we haven't been taught proper light intelligence and proper light multidimensionality of who we are, what we exist within and what exists within us, that we've become so disconnected that we've forgotten about our socio-altruism. We've forgotten about our disconnection affects the de-evolution of our DNA, absolutely, because every generation is going to be more and more degraded to its extinction point. Light is needed and required for all aspects of evolution. And if we're not being taught light evolution, and we're actually having things in our atmosphere that block out light and certain aspects of light, and we're not being taught the connection, and we're not being taught alignment and relationship, how important it is for us to have this relationship with all life, then we're becoming less and less evolved. And so it's very important that we wake up as often as we can in every moment and set aside time for your own spiritual evolution and what it means for you. And go within and heed your guides, and go within and ask your guides what's on the menu for today, because your guides are always going to lead you, and you always have anywhere from 3 to 10 guides. It depends on what you're working at a collective level or an individual level, and where you're at in your consciousness awakening. If you're at a very low vibrational, if you've just woken up and you're only just starting, you're only going to have a couple of guides that are going to be with you to keep you just practicing the awakening process. Keep practicing tuning in with your higher self, tuning in with who you are in the vibrational fields that you sit within. And this is where we have our gifts, our skills, and our talents, is understanding what you exist within, what's going on within you, and then understanding the meshing and the harmonization of it. And there's always going to be connection. There's always going to be entanglement and engagement waiting for you. But then again, it's up to you to go to those threads and say, okay, what does that mean for me? How can I work with this today? How can I do some art with this today? I've had this dream come up 3 or 4 times, so let's put this on the table and let's start alchemizing that dream. Let's start working into that dream. And you can work into dreams very creatively. And there's lots of books out there, that can work on, dream creativity, as opposed to... Because dreams mean something at any point in time of your capacity and aptitude, because as your capacity and aptitude inhale and exhale and expand as the omnipresent, as Mother, Father, God, your dreams are going to mean something different next week or 2 days from now or a day from now, because you've had harmonization, you've had integration, you're calling in those soul fragments for integration. You've got a new thought form that wants to come down and be a part of your now present. And these thought forms are right from your higher self. And so it's the flower unfurling, the petals, if you will. And they're always being gifted to you so that you become the full lotus of who you are. And that is the full alchemy of all aspects of thought, time, space, whatever it is in your consciousness that your teams are leaving there for you, those little specks of miracles. But it's up to you to bring that down and call it in, and then start working with it. And that's what dreams often allow us to do. They allow us to pull the subconscious up, deal with any thoughts and fears and control issues and any of those soul fragment energies that you need to deal with on a divine feminine or divine masculine energy level. But just understand that dreams, as I've always taught and offered to my clients, is that dreams are always the movement of who you are in your awakening consciousness. And so if you're sitting in a healing space right now that seems very negative right now because you're pulling up those energies from the subconscious, the lower aspects of you, it's going to be sitting in the patterns of a karmic experience and a karmic cycle. And so it's up to you to look at those karmic cycles. And if you're always going to be rotating in those negative energy patterns, beliefs, perspectives, and behaviors, and thoughts, words, and deeds, and that's that negative karmic cycle, then it's up to you to put them on the table one by one and start sorting them out and sussing them out and churning them. Because sometimes these negative thought patterns and beliefs were, again, the environments and the socio-economic systems that you belong within, or the dogmatic systems that you belong with. You've been taught these things are taking them on and they're not really yours, and you can choose to let them go. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work and sit down and say, what are my negative patterns on, this one issue that keeps coming up in my dream? You gotta churn it. And as you do, you become more neutralized because it's not so much of a fear anymore. You're not suppressing it, you're not ignoring it, you're not putting it off to the side. You're actually gonna face it and deal with it because it is all you. It's all you, it's always you. And as you neutralize it through the heart space, then you can become more appropriate in your management skills of directing and attending and focusing your energy on things that make you feel happy, things that make you feel like the sacred child again. And that's why we do have, going into these new omnipresent energies, every time we're going into a new spiral of ascension, we're going to be offered new omnipresent light, which means it's going to offer new vibrational energies around your field, below your field, above your field. And this is why we're seeing much of the unrest that's happening on the planet. We're all looking around going, what the heck's going on? You can wake up one day and all of a sudden there's new forest fires, there's volcanoes, there's planes crashing into things. There's all of these things that are all about our existence shaking up. Our world and our reality is shaking up, and sometimes and oftentimes the collective can wake up in very aggressive ways because they're learning and they're understanding what they thought they were existing within is not what they were told, or they've had the veils over themselves and now they're awakening to a deeper part of who they are, which is the center. When you're always aligning with the center of who you are, you're connecting with the spirit. And the spirit is always socio-altruistic. The spirit is always, who am I? And in comparison to my world, no, I want to have a greater impact and influence. And what the heck have we been doing? When we actually find out and the veils start coming off, as we've been pulling off these veils for quite some time, which has been part of my soul's theme, is to deal with the underground and deal with the misunderstanding, the misrepresentation, the misinformation about many of our world's dark occult practices. And how and why did we bring such practices forward? Much of them were for us to explore, because we do need those dark understandings and those dark wisdoms and education, as we learned in the temple schools in Egypt. And in the temple schools in Egypt, it was very important for us to understand the need and the necessity for the darker deities and the darker energies, for us to move through exorcism, for us to move through banishment of energies within our body. We had to have that practicality of understanding and respectful of the power that are both in light and dark, and understanding when the dark energies arise and where and how, if it's on sacred land, if crops weren't doing well. All of these things had its purpose and its presence, but it was never ever to the ignorant extent and state that it is now in our world, where people are just willy-nilly going and joining cults and covens because they're feeling such a lack of self, a lack of belonging within who they are. They're not feeling belonging within their communities. Again, there are many in the collective. There's been a misunderstanding about trans, and the high vibrational people and beings that are born as trans, having that energy run back and forth through axional systems and not having a proper representation or higher dimensional understanding of what is translateral mean energetically. And then we can go into a deeper understanding when you're thinking about it and experiencing it in the body, because we want to talk about gender, and then we want to talk about sexuality. So those various aspects of trans, but we want to take it to the core first. Translateral is the energy that you have, the fluidity of moving back and forth between all of your axional lines very fluidly, divine feminine, divine masculine. And some come with that very fluid translateral experience. Now, when they're going through their growth process, because there is no light wisdom teachings on our planet that are higher dimensional, some of us are bringing these topics forward for the very first time because everything in our collective is an old boys' school type of mentality and it's very low consciousness. The systems and the provinces are doing the best they can, but it's still not understood. It's still not looked at from a higher dimensional perspective. And they end up placing very stagnant and very staunch misrepresentations when they're going through the paperwork and they're doing their alignments and they're doing their definitions and they're sussing in what is understood in these categories and areas for certain aspects of medical treatment, HRT therapies, and all of those experiences for them to feel more accepted and for them to feel more of a voice. But it's not being understood at the very core levels to begin with, so how is that even possible? It's just kind of going to go through its natural evolution of immature stage to a more mature stage as we raise in consciousness and our higher evolution of energy. We've never understood energy, and there's many beings on our planet that are being born very translateral. They already have an open access to their DNA. They're just not being taught or told or shown how to live more fluidly in their energy of translateral. And then we get to the secondary discussion, which we want to get to. So translateral is the core vibration that is misunderstood in the collective. And we talk about the LGBTQT+, which we've defined it in that way, but we want to go even deeper and wider to say when that translateral experience then has to branch off in whatever it's going through in its evolution between transgender and transsexual. So they're two different experiences that are held within that being's experience that it wants to explore. And now whether it's in a male body or a female body, it might have a transsexual experience or transgender experience that it needs to explore in its evolution to become all that it is. So these are very, very profound, so if you go back and listen to that statement again, it's very profound, and we can start there. We can start there with higher education and have it kind of move across the collective in a very foundational way, so that we're bringing it forward in a very higher dimensional understanding to do with energy, because everything is energy. And these children and these youth are being born with a far greater fluid of energy than we ever have been within our chakra systems, within our axional lines. And so we have to understand that why have we not been evolving beyond the old boys' school understanding of all of our education, of all of our wisdoms? So I'm going to keep bringing back to you every day and challenging the systems every day in a loving and kind and honoring way, because there's many voices in our collective that are not being heard because the information and the wisdoms and the intelligences are just not there. So this is where many of the channels and many of the psychics and many of you out there that are going to be practicing your gifts, your skills, your talents are going to be bringing your channelings forward and your experiences forward by practicing with your teams, by practicing who you are as spirit, and then bringing these higher vibrational teachings and ponderings and wonderful things that you're going to be a part of this new hybrid collective where your bodies and your systems of light are not operating as they were in the 1950s or 2000s or even before that. So why are we continuing such old dogmatic education when our bodies and our systems of light and our systems of understanding energy and moving energy through our bodies, again, what do we exist within, what exists within us, and who are we? We have to look at those three categories to be evolutionary, and we're just not. All we're doing is we're surrendering to the old ways of education, surrendering to the old ways of politics, surrendering to the old ways of how we move about the planet, and that's just not who we are anymore. And it's holding us back in a very de-evolved state. And there are certain particular aspects of disenfranchised beings on our planet, whether we're talking about the elders, whether we're talking about indigenous, whether we're talking about animals, whether we're talking about nature, whether we're talking about LGBTQT+, whether we're talking about divine feminine, whether we're talking about the indigenous divine feminine. I mean, the disenfranchised divine feminine of the indigenous groups are even more so. So there's even disenfranchisement within subsectors of groups of disenfranchised, which is ridiculous to think of it, but it is. So we have to Each and every being within our collective is so important, and we promise with great hope and great measure, equal measure, that the universe will supply to you the guides and the excitement and the wonderment when you get in that elevator and push the button of who are you and what do you exist within. Anything that you want to explore to really bring forward profound teachings and profound offerings that you have access to. So if you're a part of that community and you want to bring higher evaluation and higher elevation and higher understanding and higher correspondence and higher depth of who you are as a being with absolute profound color to your ability to sense energy and to have it move through your body with such grace and to have it move through your body with such choice. This is such a profound, I cannot state this. I have goosebumps everywhere. I have goosebumps all over my head. And the crown chakra is going crazy. For us to think of all of these things that we have had in our collective that have not had a voice, but here we are with the entire collective of new youth and new generation that have such an open access to energy, and they actually have experience that is moving through their body in different ways. So how can we bring the idea of translateral energy, meaning that you're a human being, whether it's a divine feminine body or a divine masculine body, but you are a human being of spirit. And as you're moving through your evolution of life process, you're going to feel different things, and you're going to have to feel yourself in the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy, as all of us know in the evolution ascension process. That is part of our healing. We cannot move through ascension to 5D without understanding that we're all here to heal divine feminine and divine masculine energies within us. Now, because it has been such a red flag experience on our planet as a whole, there has been much and much of the collective being born more and more with a fluid translateral exploration in their soul's blueprint for them to experience, explore, and express. Now we're at a pivotal time. I'm going to go back and cement this in one more time because there's a lot here for us to explore, and it's so very evolutionary. And this is what we want you to get excited about, because those that feel as if they don't have a choice or a voice in the collective, we absolutely do. Just as I'm taking my life experience and all that I've been through the dark occult practices and the abuses and the dark voodooism and abuses of it and the misogyny and abuses of those practices of the divine masculines not healing, and those that were impaling me and those that were taking their free liberties and their entitlement to use and abuse me and sell me, and all of the ways that I was treated and abused. I'm taking that story and I'm bringing it forward because now we have an opportunity to create new laws and to create new education that's higher evolutionary, so that it's not going to happen again. How I was treated won't happen again to anyone else. And we'll be able to understand how to work with our bodies, how to reclaim your light and your power and your energy and your sovereignty, so that nothing outside of you has access or is going to thwart your chakra systems, your energy, your gifts, or your destiny, because your destiny is unique with Mother, Father, God, Source, Creator, the Omnipresent. That's all it will ever be. Your soul's blueprint is with you, the omnipresent, you, the omnipresent, you, the omnipresent, and your direction, your alignment with God. The alignment is, again, what? It's the connection and relationship. So if you're not connected and you have no relationship with spirit, that's where the trouble begins. And that's where, that's where the misunderstandings and misguidances, where people are running to certain groups and cults and sects, and it's fine. You're going to learn your energies there, but why would you enforce yourself into negative experiences when you understand negative input is going to be a negative output? So why would you do that to yourself? Wouldn't it be easier if you just kind of neutralize and do the work to heal and see things from a higher perspective of intelligence? The translateral experience can be seen from a higher perspective of intelligence, and we're going to do some more channeling on it. And I implore everyone, please go out into nature and call upon your guides and say, how can we understand translateral from a higher perspective? And what are you getting? What is the information you're getting on it? And then do your blog posts, do your videos. There's so much opportunity. There's so much for us to create and to really, really play and have fun with and really inform each other. This is what ascension and becoming a socio-altruistic community is all about. Each of us are here with higher vibrational gifts, and each and every one of us are activating one another. We're helping each other activate energies in our fields that we didn't know were there, but the omnipresent is feeding us. And remember, the omnipresent, the substrates are going to feed us higher vibrational light as we begin to feel and honor the various petals of inspiration that we're always offered. The information and the downloads are always there. It's up to us to go and get that download and then work with each other. As we said, in the age of Alexandria, get together in these higher vibrational wisdom teaching experiences where you're gathering as groups and you're going to talk about these things at a higher light frequency. That is truly what intelligence is. It's not sitting around thinking about, well, how can we take the old ways and put in these new things that are happening energetically with all these new children that are being born, indigo and crystal and celestial and hybrid and translateral. All of these things are so dynamic, and let's celebrate it. And each and every one of you, if you're born within that experience and you're wanting to explore those experiences, whether it's translateral first and then it branches down to because you're an evolutionary being. And in this translateral open flow of energy that you have to feel and experience the divine feminine energy, the divine masculine energy, whatever body you're encased in, and then you have those experiences through your evolution, through your body, that it's going to be a transsexual experience or a transgender experience, because that's the evolution of your soul. You're an advanced being. So you're going to have those experiences, but let's understand it at a higher vibrational, higher dimensional capacity and aptitude. We don't want to bring in old boys school forms and predicate and definitions and systematic checking of the boxes like they have done with autism. Autism is a higher vibrational sequencing within the DNA, and they come in the behaviors of themselves as a high function. I'm high functioning. And my brain just takes on information in a different way. I want higher vibrational, I want chunks of big information, and let me draw it out, let me do it. That's how I operate as high functioning. That's why I always do these drawings, because it's part of my high functioning. I have downloads in my high consciousness, and then I just start drawing. I start with a dot, I start with a line, I start with the toroidal, whatever it is I want to start with, because then I start putting the pieces together of what my downloads are showing me. So I'm getting a download, and then I just start drawing because it's activating my gifts, my skills, my talents, or it's activating a piece of information I need to talk about because the collective is ready. And so when I went in and I asked about the translateral, it had never been discussed on this planet before in the way that it has. So there's lots of beautiful downloaded evidence within our omnipresent field that's ready, because there's so many beings on our planet that have found themselves without a voice, and it's very confusing if you go online. There's not a lot of foundational correctness when it comes to evolutionary information of higher dimensional wisdoms. It's taken from a very 3D perspective. But these beings that are born in these experiences are not that 3D level. So why would we confuse these beings that are already optimizing at a higher vibration, just like autistic children are, but we're trying to push them down in these lower vibrational boxes of definitions and education when we're already beyond it? So again, start at the highest point. Start there first. You're infinite being of multidimensional light. Who are you? What do you exist within, and what exists within you? This is where we can go forward and say with great confidence that we don't necessarily have to have degrees in the fields of study and the fields of exploration, experience, and expression that we all choose to explore in our evolution of ascension. We don't necessarily have to have degrees in quantum physics to just know that you've had 3 or 4 lifetimes as being a quantum physicist in different realms, in different ways, in different roles, if you will. We have to get out of that mindset that for you to be a quantum physics, you have to have had a degree in a certain university on planet Earth. Well, what about Pleiades? If I'm activating my DNA and I'm getting over here and I'm already activating that, and the children will be activating this at a much younger age. They've already come as a Pleiadian being. Children on the Pleiades are already flying around the solar system before they reach the age of 10, if you will, because they're taught these light wisdoms right from birth. Right from when they're birthed, they know that they are connected with Source. Right from birth, they know that they have an omnipresent experience throughout the multiverse. They're taught to balance their bodies before they head out traveling, because if their bodies are not balanced in the divine feminine masculine energies, then they're going to be traveling throughout the multiverse and they don't know how to bring their body back into alignment if they're going through a slipstream of energy, or they're being activated to remember a certain energy in a one way or the other. So they're taught at a very early age what what the adult and the elderly experiences are learning now about divine feminine and masculine energies. These are some of the first things these children on the Pleiades are taught. It's what I'm teaching. They're already highly advanced. They understand dimensions. They understand there's various things in every dimension they can learn and explore. They understand their DNA is their soul's blueprint. And they're just moving through creation, activating it through their excitement. What are they excited to do? What are they excited to explore? How can they create? How can they explore? How can they expand themselves within the multiverse breath of inhale and exhale? We're always the omnipresent. We're always the exhale. We're always the inhale. The falling down is just as important as getting up. The divine feminine is just as important as the divine masculine. Why wouldn't it be? We have to understand that life is always going to be the dichotomy of the movement of quantum energy. The spark of the quantum energy is just as important as the molecules and the atoms working together. That spark is there to show you there's something going on in that quantum equation, what's going on there. So we're going to talk about that, the sequencing of events. So we're becoming more and more quantumly aware. We're becoming more and more that we have fields that we exist within. And yes, our bodies are filled with little touch points of energy that we can feel. That's why tapping is a good thing to use if you're a high vibrational person. You can use tapping to kind of allow the energy to move through your body as you get accustomed to working with your vibrational fields, to working with your energy, so that you're not going to use the emotional body, to manage the energy. And that's what I'm here to assist some people, some men that have very big energy bodies, but they've been running it through their emotional body. So what we want to do is we want to balance the emotional body, neutralize it first. So, through your breath work, through the practices that we teach you, so then you can then choose how you want to use your energy and become a master of alchemy. Otherwise, you're going to be using negative emotions and negative experiences or patterns, and patterns are just how you were taught, told, and shown to behave. Either through violence or negativity or, being very aggressive, flying off the handle. Those are things that are unpracticed because that's all you were shown. You don't have a mature level to manage and alchemize and then master the energy through a higher intelligent body, which is the higher mind. The emotional body is very needed, but if you're not balanced and you're not healed, then you're going to be manifesting out of that emotional body. Your emotional body is very needed. That's how we manifest our intuitiveness. But you got to neutralize it first. So then you're aligning with the higher mind. And the higher mind shows you how to master your emotions and master your multidimensionality reality. Who are you? What exists within? What exists within you? That's why those of us that are trained to be leaders, we're going to be operating more and more and more and more as if we're completely harmonized from our higher mind. We're going to be less and less flipping off through the emotional body. We still have those moments. We have to have those moments, because that's how you also get those energies out of your field and out of your body, especially if you're being impelled with magic every day, right? You still have to go through the clearing and work with your fields and your bodies and clear your energy a couple of times a day if you're around those people that practice dark occult. And then just move away from them altogether and have your team support you in moving as far away as possible so that you can create a more harmonized environment that is more positive, and you're not going to be thrown, like my life story was about everybody and their dog having the sabotaging elements, so that I would be, the intention and the idea that I am even here is only because of my alignment with light. The only reason why I'm here is because of my alliance with light. It's because of how I work and I do this. This keeps me in who I am. Because I'm high functioning, I have the energy, I have the information, I have the downloads, I work with spirit this way, these are my engagements, these are my relationships, and I'm here to bring the evolution of humanity up. I'm here to raise the vibration through higher light wisdom teachings. I teach the celestial children this on the Pleiades. Why aren't we learning this as adults? And it does affect the body of your health, because your body is a biophysical experience. Your body is like a translator. It's like a transistor. So if your energy that's going in and out is always flight or flight, your body can only do so much and it will break down. If you're always conjuring negative energy, then the only thing your body can do and become is negative, because it is a natural essence of living material. Just like plants and water molecules, anything that is in an environment of hate and negativity and conjuring, how else can it be? They're a living matter of spirit. But you do have the responsibility to nourish it and nurture it. In our collective right now, the leadership of our world has not opened and has not honored and has not valued and has not allowed the collective to get and allow access to the higher light wisdom education. It's not taught anywhere as a part of who we are. Light is who we are. It's all that we exist within, and it's what exists within us at the very smallest tangible experiences. And why aren't we taught this? Why aren't we shown this? Why aren't we given support? Why aren't we given aid? Why aren't we given new laws will be made out of my soul story experience? How is it that of all the socioeconomic systems on our planet, how is it that all that had happened to me, the 50 to 100 of people that were involved in what had happened to me from birth, how is it that there was no checks or balances ever done? And if they were, there was that many people that were hiding it and being paid to hide it and being paid to never allow me to know who I am in the core vibration of my universal birthright? I'm born on this planet. I was meant to be here in a divine contract with Mother, Father, God, Source, Creator, all creation, and every single human on this planet, as well as Gaia. That's my soul's blueprint. I know that. So if the heavens and Gaia and my collective know that I'm supposed to be here, I was left in lies and manipulation. So this sacred geometry was always in influx. It was never balanced. It was always in chaos. It was always in black magic and voodoo and hexes, whoever was handling me at the moment, to make sure that I never woke up, to make sure I was always in darkness, to make sure I was always impaled with negativity and wrong stories and falsifications. Falsifications of my ID, falsifications of my birth, falsifications of my family, falsification of where I come from. So like for me to ever awaken and for me ever to be here right now is a billion times a miracle. So absolutely from here on out, my purpose and my journey here will be to assist humanity in every way of the beauty and the miraculousness of God is, omnipresent is, we are. Why aren't we learning this? Why aren't we valuing who we are as the sacred geometry of the whole creation? We are the diamond sacred experience. And as we collect with more aspects of ourselves, then we're putting together that dodecahedron. And that is what is meant by the flower of life coming to life, because that flower of life is every petal you're putting on that lotus flower. Thousands of petals, thousands of aspects of you. You're here to explore that. So why are we so judgmental, and why are we degrading and discriminating and attacking one divine feminine because she talks about Source Creator and the majesties of the many heavens, just as Jesus did, but she's talking about it in ways that she understands it. I'm high functioning. If Jesus had pencils and pens and papers, he probably would have done the drawings too. He would have come out and had drawings, and if they were taught this back then, but they weren't. They talked in parables. They talked in light stories on the land, because they didn't have temples that they went in. They did, but those were only for the adepts and the high priestess and the high priests. And then they would teach the adepts. But you had to go through a very strict process of entering into a temple. Some people were not even allowed to enter the temple because their energies were just seen as not appropriate. So they had to go away and do work first before they were even allowed to step in a temple. And we're talking temple, not church. You know, temples were places where you learned to be one with spirit. You learned to be one with all creation. You learned to be one with the all creator, the Ra. And the Ra back then was seen as the God. It was the sun in the sky that gave life. And then the moon in and of itself gave new qualities to the shadow aspects of who we were. They were both needed and required. And there was very great teachings of such. We were very connected to the land. We were very connected to the sun and the moon, and how we felt in different aspects of cycles, and what were cycles and why were they so important to us. Cycles were studied to the very minute degrees in all temple work. Cycles were very important to alchemy. Cycles were very important to understanding who we are as multidimensional beings, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual beings. Because we were born within the cycles, and your cycles absolutely affect your biophysical bodies, your biochemical bodies, your biophysical bodies, your biosexual bodies. How can it not be? We're biosexual beings. We're spiritual beings. And the more higher in consciousness we are, we have a grander understanding. Everything affects the all. Why wouldn't it be? And yet we're taught nothing of it in our creative collective. And if we are taught it, we're then mocked and chastised and ostracized as being the woke community. Well, how else would you be? That or de-evolved? You can choose it. You can choose to be Epstein and never awaken to a higher consciousness. That's your choice. You're getting in the elevator and you're choosing to go down. That's okay. But you don't have the right to ostracize, bully, and attack and thwart on every step of their journey anybody else to go along with you on your ride to hell. You don't have that right. There needs to be new laws. We are evolutionary beings. We are behind the 8 ball, and we have allowed ourselves to become so conformed and so normalized to such degrading, horrible, horrible, deplorable treatment. For an entire planet to have a normalization of trafficking, you have to think and put that on the table and why there is such social unrest. Because humanity will awaken to what has been. Humanity will have to see what has been going on behind the scenes. And for my one story to come forward as a truth and predictions of Source Creator predicting what's coming forward, Source Creator being a part of my ride, Source Creator saying we are lifting her even through the degrading and deplorable non-action, non-accountability of those called officials and those held within the systems of oath-taking and law-making and judicial making. All of the checks and balances were either not done, which is highly unlikely, or there was many within the systems that chose to take money and continue suppression anyways. And how corrupt is that? So how is this one being that's born a star seed, that's born a higher vibrational being, that's here to create great light and send that light out to the all, I affect all. So if I'm in my lowest vibration, I'm not affecting the all. I'm not sending out those high vibrations. So again, if you take away that golden calf, if you take away the sacred womb, what are you doing? You're going into extinction. I don't understand how you cannot see that. The levels of imbalance on our planet right now with divine feminine not even being seen, it's in a highly negative state. The planetary energies are in a highly imbalanced state because divine feminines are nowhere to be seen. There is no education and understanding about the emotional body. That's why you see people acting out through their emotional body. And that's where I said in my post in my channel last week, that when people behave out of imbalanced points, people behave out of their mental body that is imbalanced or their emotional body that is imbalanced, and already they have cults and covens and negative energies in the higher than the secret societies that are doing their intentions and their voodoo, it's a very dangerous experience. And especially if the governments have had groups of people in these experiences, you're then having groups of people that are becoming very dangerous. How could the governments expect it otherwise? So now you're in an emergency state. You put yourself in an emergency state. You put yourself in this negative experience. You put yourself in social unrest. What do you expect? We've been offering our teachings for 3 years now, saying that if you continue to go down this path of withholding information, of withholding intelligence, of withholding what's truly going on, if you withhold the information from the people, if you withhold truth from the people, if you withhold their basic universal rights, what do you expect will happen? And it will do no good if you take your ultra humans that you have managed to weaponize, like Epstein was. Epstein was a weaponized clone being. He was debaucherous. He did debaucherous things. He knew how to wrangle money. He was the weaponized version. That's what Epstein represents. Epstein represents the one that had gone through the MK Ultra program, the one that had gone through the programs, and he was that version of debauchery. He was the version of deceit. He was the version of corruption. Why do you think he was so successful? And that's the level of our agendas on our planet, and why the trafficking is so deplorable on our planet, and why it's at such high levels, and why the dark occult, as I drew out in my platform, I drew it out of the church and state and everything that trickles down from the church and state, and those that do choose to go in the church and state corruption, they have all of the cities and the communities and the worlds and the secret society orders that are choosing to play along with the corruption. So the church and state have been paying certain secret society groups and minions and masons and witches and warlocks and voodooists and practitioners that are willing to take money to keep people interfered with, to keep people down, to keep people suppressed, to keep people targeted and attacked on a daily basis. There is absolutely no way, and I say with conviction in every cell within my body, there is no way that I would have survived without Mother, Father, God, and the heavens and my teams and my alliances and Gaia and my ancestors. Every aspect of life in the unseen is the only reason why I'm here. And they're saying, and your devotion to love. That I'm taking credit for that. They always want me to take credit for me being here because I wouldn't be here without my devotion and getting up every day. So it just goes to show you, there has been agendas that are deplorable. It has to change. And each and every one of you are higher vibrational beings. Be a part of that change in a positive, loving way with higher intelligent wisdoms. Because if you act from a lower vibrational emotional body, then you're going to be in that negative, you're going to have a negative outcome. Right? So again, everything that we teach you in the infinity helps you align your body first before you act out, before you're going to act out in a positive and loving and aligned way. As a negative body where it's a lower intelligent, the lower mental body that's been overrun and overworked, or the lower emotional body because it's not healed. So if you act in any of these ways, your only outcome will be negative. And this is where we keep showing everybody. What do the governments expect? What do the leaders expect? If they're holding things back, they're withholding information, they're withholding truth, they're corrupt as everybody in the system. How could anything that has happened to me in 2 countries of governments and the infinite beings that were touching papers, that were touching informations, and secret societies just arbitrarily saying, oh, she's crazy, let's do up a false power of attorney. And I wasn't even involved in any discussions in any way, on any level, in any how. How is that okay? How does a power of attorney, how do birth certificates, how do death certificates, I'm not dead, I'm here. Hello, hi, I'm here. Here I am. You know, talking about DNA and quantum things. I'm here, hello. Hello, higher vibrational, higher evolutionary things. Here I am. But no, these cults and covens that have had direction from the higher church and state to say, must handle her, must keep her suppressed, she knows too much, put the veils on her, do as much magic as you can on her, hopefully she'll never wake up. Meanwhile, we'll do this other testing that we try out in Project Stargate and MK Ultra, and we're going to do our thing over here with vibration and sound and all these other things, and we've made sure that we've got the birth information that's a little bit fabricated, and we've got, you know, a few things that are a little bit fabricated, and we're going to make sure that the cults and the covens and the cities, whoever's going to handle you at that time. And then in these cults and covens, they each have different belief systems. So if this cult and coven believes in incest, if this cult and coven believes in the mother hating the daughter and the mother making the daughter's life hell, and through different magic and through different glamour magic, there is no way in hell. There's no way on any chart of quantum mechanics that there's no way I would have survived. There's just no fucking way. With the number of obstacles and derailment and sabotage at such physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, energetic, everything that was used, every spell that could be spelled, every voodoo that could have been voodooed, voodoo dolls that were ripped apart and became alive themselves because the deities went through life through the doll. Because I refuse to be put inside that doll, I am not your chanting object. I am not your spell. I will not play a part of your game. And you're not getting it. And I keep telling the cults and covens, and I keep telling all the warped masons on the planet. I keep telling the warped governments on this planet. I keep telling the warped, corrupt-ass people. There's higher vibrational wisdoms and you're just not getting it. So you're spending millions and millions and millions to try and take me out and you're just not getting it. You're not getting the quantum math. You're not getting the equations. And God is going to keep showing each and every one of you, I will not be touched. Because there is a bajillion fold on the other side in the unseen that is showing you every day. If there is a plan and if there is a destiny, by God, it's going through. Thy will be done. Step the fuck aside. And we have to say it like that because how many times do I have to stay, leave me alone? 1,700 rituals later. What are you not getting? And again, that shows you the low competency of the intelligence and the low consciousness of the intelligence of these cults and covens because all they care about is getting paid for their spells. That's all they care about right now because their lives are going to crap because they're getting all their spell work back. Their monies are being blocked, as we said in our videos. We've been predicting this. We're giving you the predictions, and you're still going down the path you want to go through. So why are you complaining? We told you if you continued with the spell work, your lives will be blocked in every way. Your health will be blocked. Your monies will be blocked. We said that. We did that. Say that. Go back to the video. Go back to the video. And if you're choosing to be ignorant, if you're choosing not to do the work, and if you're choosing to ignore and spit on the face and the hand of God that has given you so much grace and breath, God provides you breath every day. How dare everybody? It makes me so sad and upset that people have treated the grace of God this way. We've shown you 1,700 times just in my one life story. I will not go anywhere. I have a destiny. Move aside. You've been taught and told I outrank you. But you want to play jealousy, and you want to play envy, and you want to play egomaniac. You want to play misogynist. You want to play gonna break me no matter what. That's your ignorance. That's not my problem. That's your ignorance. I'm higher consciousness than you. I let go of ego a long time ago. I humble before God. I bow before God, and I say, God, I will do whatever you ask me. Just show me the way. I don't know. You see all life. I don't. I will bow. I will bow to the deities on the lower realm. I will bow to the deities in the middle realm. I will bow to the deities in the higher realm. Why? Because I get it. There is none greater than you. You are one with the all. Perhaps you sit down and take a seat, Satan. And the children that are born to you, I pray for them. Because you're providing them a very lowly aspect and perspective. And they have to grow up and they have to heal from those perspectives that they've taken on your mental projections and your mental imprints about their mother being crazy, and she's absolutely not. She's a genius and will wrap circles around you in criminal court, and I hope that they're there. Because I know who I am and what I exist within. I know what's going on within me, and I can talk to spirit. So, that's a natural thing. People have been talking to spirit since the beginning of time. Celestials and aliens have been landing on this planet since the beginning of time. It's not my fault that you're choosing to believe the veils that you sit behind and hide behind. That's your prerogative, but you don't have to come to my channel. We've been telling you from day one, if you continue with the dark occult, you're going to get blocked. If you're a practitioner and you take money for hurting people, for interfering with people, and you're not following the universal laws, you will be blocked. You will be blocked, you will be blocked, you will be blocked. Just as you've done to me. All of you in the governments, you have blocked me for everything that I could be. I could be reaching up to the highest heavens right now, but I have to rebuild my body every day. There has been such detriment to my multidimensional bodies and systems because of everyday relentless attacks on my life. I live in a constant fight or flight that I have to manage. I shouldn't have to manage it. I should have already been living my best life with the monies that were legally meant for me, that the government has willingly withheld and paid secret societies and minions and false-ass church people, false-ass righteous people, to then pay people to have me silenced and suppressed so that I'm never seen, I'm never heard, but I'm used by them. They use my content, they use my wisdoms, they use my information, they use me. I don't see a penny of it. And why they want to come to me with now after the fact offers and say, well, if we give you an offer and we buy all of your material from you, we buy all of your intellectual properties and everything that you draw and everything that is you as a download, how about we get that, and we're going to buy it, we're going to own it. I want to own this intellectual property. Well, because you've already been using it illegally, you didn't have permission, and now you're going to try and backtrack because you've built a company that has a whole bunch of money in it, that has a board of directors, and you want to discern that money and give that money to those people that you owe. But you've been using my stuff illegally. So now you're going to come for an after-the-fact backhanded offer? No. I told you from day one, my intellectual property is mine. I will not sell it because it doesn't make sense for you. These are my codes. I can talk about this next week and come up with a whole different topic because these are my codes. It's multidimensional. I understand it. I did it. It's my download. It's not going to work for you, and we told you that. That's why your company's going under. Because your company is using my information you never had rights to. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't get a signature. You didn't involve me in any conversation. You just took your entitlement. You said, this person is a light being. We're going to harvest her for everything she's got, and you're going to suck the fucking life out of her. You're going to take her work. You're going to take her wisdoms. You're going to take her energy. You're going to supply your whole fucking family and your whole club and your whole cult and your whole city. And then you're going to go into the city and you're going to say, this is my business. How else can anyone be used and abused to the point of no return? What has been done to me has been the most abhorrent, disgusting, deplorable, incomprehensible. The way that humans have behaved. They see a light being, they see a star seed, and then he's going to start investigating. They're going to start having the little mad little sick ass scientists to say, we're going to study her socially. So you got the little mad ass scientists that show up on every one of my shows and they're going to study me. How can we get these star seeds to be, how those people that don't have any star seeds things within them, and I'm showing you every time I do a video, if you just do the fucking work, but you don't want to do the work. You want to scrape it from their DNA. You want to scrape it from their mind. You want to put them in these little enslavement projects like Epstein Project, MK Ultra, Project Stargate, and you're going to have little cults and covens suck the fucking life out of them and use them for all that they've got. You swap over their inheritance, you swap over their money, you put false POAs on them, you put false insurances on them, you say that they're dead, you put false stories, and how many checks and balances and how many businesses and how many banks and how many insurance companies and how many wills and estates, how many policing authorities, the local police know that all of you are working under dark occult and they're allowing it. Because there is no laws, there's no support, there's no aid, and these people are being used and abused and enslaved like we're back in the cave days, and it's fucking barbaric. It's barbaric as fuck. And the secret societies and the cults and the warped ass Masons and everybody's getting paid. These are my wisdoms and my geniuses. It's my intellectual property. Nobody had an ounce of legal right to touch my stuff. That's why we said for months and months and years, if you copy my material and you don't give back and you don't ask for permissions, you're going to get karma. I'm calling it, and the predictions are coming true right now. Why is it that everybody complains when they get their backfire of their decades and decades and decades of voodoo and black magic, the cults and the covens in Calgary? You are getting backfire for all the horrible things that you have done to so many people, and I'm the voice of those people. I'm the voice of the children that you do black magic in front of, and then you lie about it to their faces. And then you give them false-ass stories about who's crazy and who's not crazy. As you're all going crazy right now because of your decades of black magic that you're intending and you're conjuring and you're dancing on graves. How dare you? You're getting back exactly what you have done. Equal measure, that's the universal law. So perhaps practitioners around the world and voodooists in the little back forest of wherever you're practicing and you're taking money to take people out that you don't even know. You're not checking with universal laws and you don't know your higher self because you would never be guided by your higher self to take somebody out. Anybody that's doing sacrificing right now, absolutely no. Your sacrificing practices are coming back to you and you will be blocked and sabotaged equally. This is the new law. It's always been this way, but you've had guides and you've had ancestors that have been protecting you until you get wise and wake up. You are in a universe that is ascending. Everything that you do is coming back to you and it will be back to you quick post haste, ASAP. You don't have a right to sacrifice anything or anybody. Get healed. Get healed. You're doing sacrifices because you're living in false beliefs. You do not belong to yourself. You have no idea who you are. You have no sense of self. You don't belong to anything but greed and envy and jealousy because you're wounded. And you have demons running around inside your body, eating you inside out. You can heal this if you want, which we've said for 18 years. I've had the same message for 18 years. I've written 3 books. I'm on to book 4 and I'm on to book 5. And I come out and I produce every day of the highest creative, collective, multiversal wisdoms at a quantum level through the omnipresent of God. I am a seer, I'm a conduit, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer. I'm a vibrational healer. I'm a sound, I'm a tone. I can talk to Gaia. I can talk to anything that is spirit. I can talk to anything that is source creator. I am a conduit. And there's people that have the ignorance, that haven't even ever talked to me, that don't know anything about consciousness, that don't know anything about spirit, that are not connected to spirit, that are not connected to God in any way. They're not connected to Mother God, they're not connected to Gaia. They don't care about the planet, they don't care about Earth, they don't care about nature. They don't care about the children they're hurting in every day, in every hour. They don't care about the children they sacrifice or traffic. They don't care about the children they're doing incest on, and they're wrecking their souls. And they're bringing them big diamond aspects of wounds. They don't care about life because they're so wounded and disconnected. They have no connection. And these are the people that have been doing false claims, false accusations, false this and false that, running up the city with chaos, running up the city with the people's money and wasting time and energy and money. And how many of the officials that have been involved in my one case since the beginning of the time that I was born? There have been hundreds and hundreds of people involved in every system, in every state, in every country, in every province, that have been involved and been paid and taken money and taken responsibility, and now you are in a place where your backs are against the wall because that's where God's got you. You chose that. You chose to act in corruption. You chose to take the money. You chose to be a part of the plots and the premeditations. You chose to sit around your little kitchen tables and figure out and plot and plan and scheme about when you're going to take me out next and how you're going to take me out, who's going to come and stalk me next, who's going to come and try and intimidate me next. How many people have you sent me? Spirit says 52 people have been sent to me thus far, in various ways, in various temperatures, and various addictions, and various directives. How is that okay? I'm supposed to be a free human. I'm a healer. I'm supposed to walk on the planet freely and give activations of love and light to the planet. That's what I offer. I'm a multiversal being from the multiverse. And I'm being in a homeless situation with no money. I'm going to keep talking. You can leave my chat room. You can leave my channel. I'm not here to serve you. You've chosen Satan. You've chosen Lucifer. You've chosen Epstein Earth. So off you go. This is not Epstein channel. I'm giving those that choose to have a higher vibrational eternal life. You can choose the negative side of things and the darker side of things, which is Epstein Earth. You've chosen to be disconnected. That's your choice. You chose to get in the elevator and you chose to go down. That's your choice. You won't take anybody else with you. And God will assure of it, and your ancestors will assure of it. You're not being supported anymore. Your gifts and your skills that you think you have, that you're doing magic on, they've been stripped from you. Anytime you think you're doing a magic spell, you're not. You're stripped. That's what you did to others. Therefore, thus then, as we said in our videos, we've been saying for 3 years, any of those that were involved in my case, you're being shown because this is a case that God will show as an example to all of the planet. Anybody that is doing what we have said not and stopped to. We've said stop for 3 years, but you've all chosen not to. And each and every one of you are now seeing the sabotage in your own lives because God is showing you. You cannot be entitled to abuse. You cannot be entitled to rip this person's all life because you want to live in your luxury, because you don't want to let go of your riches. Your riches are your riches because you harvested them from me. You made your fake AI accounts, you made your fake businesses off of my information and my content while I sat fucking homeless. What do you think is going to happen? You will get backfire. Your lives will be blocked on every level in every way. And if you were smart and wise, you would absolutely take that up with God, and you would absolutely sit down and you would begin repenting, and you would begin your own redemption and alchemizing your deeds and your beliefs and your perspectives that ever thought that it was okay to enslave a one divine feminine healer. Gangs and groups and systems of socioeconomics and systems of dogma and systems of church and state and systems of people that have never even met me. But because I speak of a higher omnipresent God, because I speak of the God that will heal every aspect of life on this planet, because I speak of a God that is unconditional love, because I speak of a God that is unconditional intelligence, you all felt it necessary to screw me over beyond all understanding. No friends, no family, no nothing is left. I sit by myself with God. I wouldn't have it any other way. But I'm telling you, there is not one of you that will understand what I've been through until you go through the wrath that is your karma right now. Your monies will be blocked as you blocked mine. Your health will be blocked as you blocked mine, and every spell you damaged my cells. That a high vibrational empath, a high functioning empath, you have no idea how I feel. And you never will, because you're not high functioning and you're not connected. I am. I was born connected. I was born connected to the multiverse. The sky was alive when I was born, and you all knew it. That's why you had people follow me. They've been following me since the day I was born. You've had your little minions handle me. No more. I am free, I am liberated, every chain has been cut by the hand of God itself, because God had to intervene in the deplorable acts that socioeconomic states refuse to take accountability for and make right. The egregious acts are beyond, uncountable. Those from Calgary, don't ever think you're going to step before me and have a conversation. I don't care about confessions. 1,600 rituals on my life and 50 sacrifices on my life, and the daily sex magic that you do to try and make your story seem little less deplorable so that we can be friends again. You're all forgiven. I want nothing to do with any of you. You will sit in your karma, and you will start accounting for every deed and every spell and every sacrifice and every child and every person you've touched on that you had no right to. Every set of business documents that you drew up, every power of attorney, every death certificate. You have to be accountable for every single fucking lie. You will be accountable for it. It will go through courts. We will sue, and for the defamation, for the exploitation, for the using and abusing of my life, where I sat penniless, I sat crying every day. And some of you will absolutely know what it's like to be homeless. And you won't be supported because you're not protected the way I am. Again, the only reason why I'm here is because of the hand of God and the many infinite legions and the infinite beings throughout all dimensions that I work with and I belong to. My story has proven to all of you, none of you would have survived what I have gone through, that each and every one of you felt entitled to put the hand of your wrath of pain and hate and punishment because you didn't know who you were and you weren't connected. And each and every one of you felt it okay to take money to put spells on me, to take money to make false documents, to make money to make Photoshop documents. All of that was done, you can't even count. And yet they're still trying to figure out how they can tamper with evidence and get themselves out of their own deeds. They don't give a crap about what I went through. And therefore, that's then your karma is going to continue. You don't care what you did to me. You don't care what you've been doing to me since the day I was born that I have to fucking live with. These lies and manipulations are just a part of my life that I have to work with now. It's a fucked up, corrupt experience that I have to live within. And every day I have to transmute the fuck shit. That's not how life should be. It should be an open honoring. You're free, you're liberated. Let's flow about our planet. Let's grow and let's explore and let's experience. No, these are enforced manipulations of corruption and degradation. It's enforced trafficking, degradation, deplorable hate, deplorable separation, deplorable discrimination, deplorable defamation, deplorable exploitation. Everything negative and dark you can imagine was impaled on my fucking soul. And I have to live and breathe and create light every day to make up for what was done to me by groups and by socioeconomic systems you had no fucking right. And you will all be sued. You're all equally guilty. All of you are equally guilty. The 5,200s of you are equally guilty. You're equally guilty for making up false documents. You're equally guilty for making up lies. You're equally guilty for saying things you don't even know me. You cannot speak on my name without getting karma, period. If you speak about me in a good way, in a positive way, then you'll get that good karma. You speak about it because it's true to your heart. You don't make stuff up. You say what's in your true heart. My experience is this. You speak about you. You don't speak about anybody else. Get out of people's business. And I'm showing you, and my case will be known all over the world. This is what happens in the most corrupt planets. What are you going to do now, humanity? I was one starseed that was trafficked and handled how many times and sent how many spell work and sent how many bullshit ass experiences and bullshit ass paperwork and people making up lies here and willy-nilly, and I'm living in your fucking lies. Are you kidding me? This is the state of intelligence, and this is why they're withholding light intelligence on the planet. They want everybody to be trafficked and moved, numb and dumb, into the little carts, into the little crates, and look where we go now. As if we're not asking questions, and we're not going to wonder out who we are, what do we exist with, and what's going on within us. And purveyors of the highest, most high heavens, through the Melchizedekian order, through Lord Sananda, through the Metatronic light. I am light. I belong to all systems. I belong to all realms. I belong to all dimensions. And you sit and have your little mad scientists study me to see how eclectic and how expansive I can be. Just in a matter of a second, I can breathe in a new energy, and I am. Why? Because I'm godly. I'm Ra. I am the golden calf. I am the sacred womb. Why? Because God made me that way. I've survived your death. How do you think this is so important, dear lighted ones? Why are these important lessons? Because I don't bow to surrendering to your stories of ignorance. I am far grander than that. I am infinite, and I will show each and every one of you. And God is with me step in step, equal measure. I don't need your stories, or your lies, or your separations, or your manipulations. Those are yours. That's why you're sitting in it. We are showing you quantum equality, dear lighted ones. What are you not getting? It's maddening. This is a healer being mad and angry. It was unnecessary. How many people died? I was to be victim number 9, but there's been more victims after me, isn't there? Because I'm still alive, because you can't take me out. How many unnecessary deaths? This is what just makes it so undeniably wrong. There will be court cases. And God will win on every one of them because you didn't have a right to touch the sacred life. You didn't have a right to think that your beliefs and your ways and your warps and your corruptions and your deplorable debauchery of the underworld and the black world and the black web and your little tiny ass rings of degradation to the human body and degradation to the spirit and degradation to disconnection of everything and every kind of it. And then you go and exploit it and you snuff it out. And then you think it's all funny and you think you're all puffy in the chest. Masochisms. Then you'll be shifted because that's where you belong, that's where you intend, but you're not taking any innocent life with you. That is the new law. And every way that you block somebody and sabotage somebody is coming back to you now. And good luck with your little black web rings. Because you're going to keep getting blocked, and you're going to keep getting blocked and keep getting blocked and keep getting blocked until every one of you are off the planet. That's what you chose if you choose not to redeem yourself and make yourself right. Because your vibration affects everything else, and Gaia has her universal birthright to be in her code. And her code is ascension. And she will pull up a volcano, she'll pull up a thunderstorm, she'll pull up this, she'll pull up that, whatever she has to do to even out that energy. Because she's going to go along for the ascension ride. She doesn't care about your little black web corrupt ring that is taking life out every day. So you want to play bully in the playground, you got bigger energies there, people, and you're not supported. You don't have ancestors and you don't have guides that are supporting you anymore. You're not protected. So you're going to get eaten alive by the very demons that you send other people. And those are the new laws. So get used to it. You're either going to get healed, humanity, because doing your little outbursts in the social collective is not going to get you anywhere. Social unrest begets social unrest. It's needed for a little bit and for a little ways, but not when you're in emotional, mental imbalance. You need to get yourself in balance and you need to heal, and you need to do it in intelligent ways by bringing your stuff forward in intelligent capacity and aptitude to say, this is who I am and I'm bringing higher teachings. I'm showing you every day how to be high vibrational. I'm showing you every day what needs to be brought to the collective. I'm showing you every day where's the light wisdoms. I'm showing you every day you could heal yourself. I'm showing you every day you got soul fragments. Why don't you heal it? Why don't you be a little bit higher vibrational? Why don't you be a little higher dimensional? Why don't you understand the quantum universe? Why don't you understand you got stuff in your DNA? Why don't you be you? Why don't you understand the infinite is going to be where your reality is? Are you directing it? Are you intending it? Are you focusing it? Are you aligning with your heart center? I got all the answers here. Why is my channel being paid to be silenced? And then you tell me you're the righteous ones. And then you tell me you're the one standing in front of your pulpits. And God said enough is enough. Because I do walk with the heavens. You're all being shown now. You're going to continue to be blocked in what matters to you, and seems to be what matters to you is your money and your debaucherous lifestyle. Your little black web rings are going to be brought out by those that are do treat and honor their life in righteousness, because there are investigators that are on the right side of law, and they're working with Archangel Michael to bring justice to those ones that have been so deplorably and abhorrently treated. I was brought here as the voice of the forgotten, dear lighted ones. Do you understand what it means to have the earth shall be inherited by the meek? Thy will be done. I am the voice of all that is meek. I am the voice of the forgotten. I'm the voice of the trafficked. I'm the voice of the abused. And I'm the voice of the divine feminine. I'm the voice of the elders. I'm the voice of everything that is invisibleness. I'm the voice of the spirit. I'm the voice of Gaia. I'm the voice of nature. I'm the voice of abused animals. I'm the voice of trafficked children because I hear them. I'm a seer. I'm a conduit. I'm high functioning. I see, I hear, I be it. I sense it. I'm bringing their stories. I'm a channel. I'm a wisdom. I'm a medium. I'm everything you got to be. Why? That's what God made me. Stay out of my business and get busy with yours, because yours is a mess. If you're harming people and taking money for it, if you're in the black web of any kind, if you're unbalanced and you're going out in the collective and you're creating unrest, you're not breathing yourself into balance, you're not breathing yourself into the ground, you're not breathing yourself into peace and calm, you got a lot to learn. Get used to your spirituality being the highest level of intelligence that you can pull from, because it is, and it is now. And we've been telling you for a little while. So if you want to go into the red zone, go in the red zone. That's your choice. But there are checks and measures, and there are beings on the planet, and there are entities on the planet, and there are the legions on the planet, there are celestials on the planet that aren't going to let you take anybody with you, because they have a right to their ascension. They have a right to be their highest and their best, and they're going to be their highest and their best, because you do not own them, you do not handle them. And anybody that thinks and believes that way, you'll be taught a very quick lesson. This is why my case will be known all over the world. There is no more handling. Cults and covens and secret societies that think that they do and they are God and they play God over others, you're going to be stopped on every level, and you're going to be shown who you are in the darkest places of who you are so that you can heal. And make that as your gift, and you better thank God for it. Because you have a chance to get in that elevator and go up if you want to. Because God is so very graceful. Anubis and I walk together, and if you stand before me, that means that you're coming to a time where you're at a crossroads. I know my role in this reality, dear lighted ones. It matters to me not if you believe it. I don't give a fuck. If you're standing before me, you're at a crossroads. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it's up to you. I will simply read it, and I will simply bring truth. And Anubis has the scales. And it's up to God and the legions and the karma board and your soul. How is important is your soul's evolution? Do you care or don't you? I know my role. I know who I am. And there's been everybody and their dog trying to make me as if I don't matter on any level. And you're okay to see me penniless, and you're okay to see me crying every day, and you're okay to see me snuffed out, and you're okay to see me degraded. So then that's your experience, because I am you. I am you in light form. I'm saying you can get in the elevator and you can press the button and you can go up. Or not. Dear humanity, if you walk outside your home and you walk inside your home and you sleep in your bed and you have breath when you wake up in the morning, do you not think about the importance of the planet and the breath that it offers you? And the trees that offer you that clean air, and the water and the oceans and the soils that you grow your food from? Does it not matter to you how you move around? Does it not matter to you that you have ankles and knees and thighs and hips and elbows and breasts and parts of your body that work if you're good and loving to it, and they'll work better and better every day because light is going to become it every day? You can take loving commandmentship of it every day, and we teach you this to become harmonized and connected with Spirit, and to breathe in Spirit, and to harmonize Spirit, and to say, Spirit, I'm here, Spirit, I'm here, Spirit, I'm here. Can I engage with you, Spirit? Can I engage with you, Spirit? Can I engage with you, Spirit? And it's okay if I have those words of cursing every now and then, because it hurts me so bad, because I hear the children cry on the other side. I hear the children in containers. I hear the children in caves, in tunnels. I hear the children in houses that have never been let out of houses. I see the children right now. I see a little girl, and she's in a tank top and a skirt, and she has a very dirty tank top on. She's probably about 5, and she's got dark shoulder-length hair, and her hair hasn't been brushed, and it hasn't been cleaned, and she's dirty, and she's looking at me standing here. She knows who I am. She has spirit, and she is looking at me, and my spirit is looking at her. My higher self is looking at her higher self. She doesn't have shoes on. She is barefoot, and she has a skirt on, and she has a tiny tank top, spaghetti string tank top, for those women that know what that means. And she's dirty. She's looking at me, and I'm saying, dear child, don't worry, you're an angel. We're going to bring you out of this. Can you have the faith in God to know that you're going to get out of this? I don't know why they do what they do to me. I don't know what I did. I can't remember the place where I had a bedroom and I had a place with toys. And she's looking at her toes, and her toes are there. And one day your toes are going to be painted, and they're going to have pretty little socks and shoes on them. And I promise you, your body will only be yours, and you'll be the only one that touches your body. And you're going to ask those demons to leave, and we're going to exorcise everything dark and negative that you've ever seen, heard, or felt, and it will be exorcised from you, and you will be a powerful leader. And you will help bring peace and calm to the children that have been so poorly abused, because they had adults that were so poorly abused, and they made money off your abuse. But I know and I see in your future, you're going to write books and you're going to lead people to salvation and new gardens. Because what you're wearing right now and what your story is right now and your circumstances right now are not your end circumstances. You got a new story. And I'm going to help you build it. Believe in who you are, and believe in the stars, and believe in the sky, and believe in the sun, and believe in the moon, and believe in the soils you walk on. Don't ever surrender to the stories anybody's telling you about where you're going to be shifted to next and how much you got sold for. so sorry, children, you're getting sold. I'm trying so hard to get out to help you and save you, children, but they have me suppressed and veiled and shadow banned on every level. My light will reach you anyways, and I see you. Hold tight to your songs that you sing yourself, little girl. Hold tight to your songs and you write your stories. Any piece of paper you can find and any pen you can find. Write your stories. Your story's going to be a bestseller one day. And I will be sure that you'll wear pretty little clothes, and I'll be sure that you'll be safe in the bed that you sleep in and nobody will touch you. And I ask you to ask for forgiveness for anybody that's touched you and given you harm and traded you like an option. May the divine masculines wake up on this planet and get healed. You are to protect the children. You are to lift divine feminine and to show the world who you are as new divine masculines that are healed, and never to use violence, aggression, or selling people for your money and your greed. Divine masculines, you need to be healed and you need to level up. Divine feminines, who are you? If divine feminines are allowing this to occur, the divine feminines, you need to ask yourselves, how wounded are you? Life is not to be bought and sold in such horrible ways. And if you are a seer, and if you are a conduit, and if you are a high-functioning person that saw and felt and know everything, you would wonder why I spend 98% of my time alone and I actually prefer paper. Because I can teach as much as I can teach, but every human is up to them and what choices they make. But if I have access to any child that's being abused and I can give them hope, I will. And their stories will be bestsellers, and I will lift those healers and I will lift those leaders, because I am a maker of great leaders. And I have been suppressed in the most deplorable of ways. I don't have a penny to my name, and my finances are skewed. It's going to take me months and months to fix what has gone on because of the most selfish, abhorrent people that refuse to take accountability for their deeds and their lies and their manipulations, because they never wanted me to be great. And I'm saying, how great and how miraculous is it for one little girl to be trafficked that she gets up and she be a world leader one day? And although you would have taken that from the world, and you would have taken it from her soul's destiny, and this is what happens every time you lay a hand on a child and you alter their course that you had no right to. And I'm on the other side saying, I've been there and I've gotten over it, and you're here because of God, and you're here because of people like me that believe in you. No matter how you look, no matter how you think you are, your circumstances is your story. That's your stage. And I'm going to help you get there. There is only light that you needed. It is within, and God is it. God will show you your importance, and God will show you your value. And God will show you that you will never be bought and sold and traded, and your work is your work, and nobody shall have access and ownership and control over it. Just as your soul is, your body is, your spirit is, your soul is, your destiny is, your blueprint is. Be in spirit, of spirit, as spirit. Amen. As thy will be done. I see the world of love and peace and hope. I see a world that will transcend social unrest. I see a world that people will sit in the mornings and in the afternoons, and they will sit in peace and calm of who they are, spirit, and who they are in spirit and of spirit. I see a world that prays in the hope that every child born will never ever be touched and exploited and used and abused and thrown away. I see a world where there'll be not children on the streets looking for food and being sold into the most unsafe situations. Because adults are not walking around wounded anymore. Adults are taking accountability, and adults are choosing to be healed and bringing truth. And adults are choosing not to be corrupt, and adults are choosing not to create corrupt forms and corrupt paperwork that take out a world leader that is here to make many, many world leaders 10 times, a billion times over. Because isn't that what makes a great leader? not somebody that suppresses the great, not somebody that hates the great, not somebody that attacks the great, not somebody that sends stalking and hacking and spying to the great. They lift the great and they give them a stage. Are you a great leader? Or do you sit in jealousy and envy and hate because someone next to you seems to find a piece of themselves they just want to love? So let them love who they are while you go and heal who you are. Because you projecting your wounds on everybody and your magic on everybody is just digging you a bigger pit. As we've been telling you for 18 years, what you put out is coming back, and it's coming back tenfold. Get out of your dark magic, get out of your dark practices. You got lots to learn. And if you choose not to, then you deserve the karma you sit in. Everyone that practices such, you're going to be blocked and stopped on every level because you don't deserve, and nobody deserves, your interference. You don't know their soul's destiny. You don't know their blueprint. And even if you think you do, you don't. Because the legions are smarter than you, and they're going to feed you whatever scrambled stories you need to get your ego in check. Egomaniac control freaks. Sit down, you need to be healed. And if you choose not to, you will be moved. It is that simple. Our souls are evolving, and there is soul processes, and it's very important because there's a lot of future leaders, and there's a lot of future inventors, and there's a lot of future medicine shamans that are coming to this planet, and I'm going to bring them hope, and I'm going to bring them light because that's what I teach. That's what I offer unconditionally, even if I don't have money, even if I don't have friends, even if I don't have a support system, even if I don't have family, and they've all lied to me and told me that I'm nothing. And they're going to keep throwing hate at me, and they're going to keep sabotaging me and keep sacrificing me and hoping the next day I don't wake up. The governments will pay me back the money they've been withholding. The governments are going to give apology letters, and they're going to say, this is the money we held right from day one, this is the money we've spent, and this is the money we have to owe you. Because all of you have been partying and buying houses and buying vacations while I've been sitting with nothing. My health has been affected multidimensionally on every level. Nobody cared. I give you the visions because I want you to see what I feel. You can't see what I feel. You can't know what I feel. You're not a conduit. You're not a seer. You're not connected with God as I am. Your DNA is not activated as mine is. But I'm giving you these visions as an opportunity. When you see a 5-year-old little girl that doesn't have any aspect of home or semblance of a bed or any toys that she can play with or anything clean to wear, I want you to see that vision. Because it's you. Do you care? Who is the sacred child within you, and what have we done to our children? Have we given them the highest light wisdoms? Have we allowed them to feel who they are? Have we given higher intelligent wisdoms to translateral? Have we given everybody a voice? Have we allowed the peoples to have a voice? Or are there just control egomaniacs out there wanting their systems of gun control back and forth and drugs back and forth and trafficking back and forth and their social and their affiliate businesses that are nothing but corrupt trafficking of weapons and children and life? Look into the affiliate businesses of many of the politicians that are on councils now. If somebody wants to do their quantum investigation, look at the affiliate businesses of every politician in North America and in wherever else you want to look. Look at the affiliate businesses and do the investigation on every person involved in the affiliate business. Go to their places of business and see what they actually do. There should be open investigations to every affiliate business. Go to their places of business, investigate the canteens, investigate the warehouses, investigate the trucks and the services, investigate the affiliate businesses. And then we're going to get to the top of the global network of hate and why innocent healers and teachers and women like me that move wormies off to the grass haven't hurt a soul in my life, and God would not lift me if I did. I've been initiated and I've been tested alongside every world leader on this planet and other planets because I serve the multiverse. I'm tested against the multiverse, dear lighted ones. Do not think I know what I'm doing, and you have the audacity and the ignorance to call me crazy. You're not connected with spirit. You don't know anything about a multiverse, let alone a universe. You don't know anything about quantum energy. You don't know anything about energy. You don't know anything about being spiritual. You're disconnected on every level. That's your level of intelligence. then you should not be opening your mouth to comment on somebody that is beyond you. And I get to be beyond you. I've earned it, because that makes me feel good to be who I am. I am that I am. You're the one stating placement on it. You're the one in envy and jealousy. I simply want to help the children. I want to help the soils. I want to help the water. I want to help clean air. I'm giving everyone inspiration and upliftment. I don't deserve to be abused every day. I don't deserve to have my monies withheld from me every day, because people are feeling all upset now and mad because I'm calling them out. That's my job. I walk with Anubis. That's who I am. Everything we were taught in our ancient temples is now coming back to life, and there will be shamans, teachers, oracles, seers, conduits like myself, bringing it back into the forefront. Our sun is pivotal to our learning and to our codes that we gain every day and to the life on this planet. The sun is pivotal to our evolution. Walking lighter on our planet and being present with her and being engaged with her and loving her is pivotal on our planet for evolution. Treating all life with sacredness, the animals, the flowers, the nature is pivotal to our planet and our spiritual evolution. Get connected, get engaged. You have spirit teams and you have guides. It is pivotal on our planet. Get engaged, get aligned, get committed to who you are in relationship with. Is it spirit? The first breath in the morning. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you for this day. Are you connected in relationship with Spirit? Yes or no? Or is the first thing you're thinking about the money you can make, the people you can take out, how you can interfere, and how you can get, take, and rape? Then you deserve to sit where you sit, and you will be blocked. Because corruption on this planet is no longer the ruler, or the leader, or the thumb presser, or the God player. You ain't God if that's your way. You're not righteous in any way, and you're not godly in any way if you are suppressing one divine feminine's social platform of 2,000 subscribers that's been that way for 8 years. They've been messing with my upload dates. They've been messing with my pilfering dates, and people have been using my content, and people have been using my images, my videos, and my work. And there's been no authorization. And that's why some of them want to come around and say, I want to own your paperwork now. I want to own your stuff. Your intellectual property, because you've already been using it, and now you're finding yourself pressed against the wall that you brought yourself to because you used it without authority, without authenticity. You didn't use it with authority or permissions. There was no conversations. There was no discussions. There was no paperwork. There was no signatures. Not one person out of all these situations that have been bought, sold, and raped from me, with zero permissions, zero intelligence, zero due diligence, zero due process to every human law, to every criminal law, to every Informations and Privacies Act, everything to do with my ID and my medical. There has been no process that has been aligned with the laws. And how is that? 50 years of this going on, how is that? Then that must say the people at the very top that were the ones to assign birth records have shown and given direction to the secret societies and minions in every day that I have survived and lived. Beyond the abuses, the lies, the manipulations, the attacks, the withholding, and living with absolutely nothing but the kindness of the homeless and the kindness of the people that absolutely see angelic energy of my presence. And they give as kindly as they give. And thank God for them. Thank God for God's earth angels that are held within every body, that are held within every way, that are held within the homeless, that are held within the elite, that are held within the little ones here and there that you ignore and you treat like crap. And we say once again, how can we release judgment and heal? Because it's needed. It's needed very, very profoundly. And I bring it forward every day. Who are you? What do you exist within, and what's going on within you? And can you be your highest and your best, regardless of what anything else anybody says around you? And I gave you that vision of that girl. That was a real girl. She will be found, and I will assist her. I will assist her in becoming her best, because she will be a leader. This is what God shows me, and this is what I thread. And so I talk about what I see, and I talk about who I am in the multiverse, and how is that a crime? I see what I see what I say what I see, I'm going to be who I'm going to be, I see what I feel, I'm going to tell what I feel, I'm going to say that you got it too. And are you going to level up? We're going to be multidimensional. We're going to be higher vibrational beings because we're calling on it. We're entering into 5D. 5D ain't 3D. We're not in Kansas anymore. That means you got to operate differently. You got to be grateful and you got to be appreciative for every moment because God's gracing you with something that you're never going to believe is going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years. Can you be okay with that? Can you be okay with the miracles that only God will know and just unfold it to you second by second, minute for minute? That's called the sequencing of events. And if you're open and if you're miraculous and if you're falling in love with yourself and if you're saying your apologies when you can say your sorries and say, I'm going to do a better version of that tomorrow. I like this and I like that, but I slipped up here, Spirit. Can you please forgive me? Can you please forgive me? I had to let go of that negative energy. I'm really trying. You know that I'm trying. Please let me forgive this a little bit deeper. Please help me, Spirit, forgive this at a deeper level. That's all Spirit wants to see, is that you're recognizing where you're moving, you're recognizing when you're in negative, and you can readjust it to a positive. That's what Spirit wants to see. It's not held up in the old church and state where you're damning yourself every second and every day. No, are you challenging yourself to realign in the center and come up with something new? Can you know that you're an infinite being? Can you know that you're infinitely here? Can you know that you're infinitely God? Can you know that you're divine feminine and divine masculine? Otherwise, there wouldn't be an infinity. It would just be one side of the infinity. No, you're divine feminine, you're divine masculine, and how can you work together? How can you come together and build bridges, people? How can you come together and show that this planet is worth saving? This planet is going to be the jewel of the galaxy of the highest creative timelines. And that's been our message from day one. It's been our message from day one. The sequencing of events will determine the miraculousness that is Spirit. I just have a couple more minutes, so I wanted to write this down. The sequencing of events. When you operate from a place of love, you allow for the place and the space of which energies co-entangle and coexist. Remember, energies? Energies are co-entangling, energies are coexisting. You're allowing them to take place in miraculous ways that only God and the omnipresent is. If you're operating in an open, loving heart space and a compassionate space, then you're allowing that sequencing of events to be miraculous because it's not forced, it's not contrived, it's not manipulated, it's not spellcasted. It's just an open space of energy, just an open space of becoming Spirit. We delight ourselves in how spontaneous and unplanned events can actually be. An event can be an event, but it can be a spontaneous event. It can be a spectacular event. We do not live in spaces where we're blocking our day out and over-controlling of time and space because it is only in the now. We operate from an open heart, knowing that all events are equal. All events are valid. All events bring us to a new state of ourselves. There is a sequencing of events. What vibration do you hold yourself at will determine the sequencing of events that unfold. How can it be otherwise? And that is no different for the other eruptions on Gaia. If there are things that Gaia needs to let loose and needs to erupt with, she will erupt. It has to be that sequencing of events. If you're conjuring negative events and you're dancing on graves, there will be those negative sequencing events. That's what you're conjuring. If you're open in an unconditional loving heart space, then you're allowing the universe and the omnipresent and the substrates that you exist within and all of those beautiful things that you exist within, you're allowing that to be okay. And you're allowing that to be its new sequence of, oh my gosh, what can happen here? We've got some molecules over here. We got some beautiful inspirations from the higher self coming here. Well, let's just let God in for a little bit. Let's leave enough room for God to have a miracle or two. And you just let God work its miracles. That can only be if you're working from an open heart and surrender. I open heart, Spirit. When Spirit says to me, Joanna, Celeste, we're going to bring some things to you. Can you open your heart and just allow? Can you open your heart and just allow the infinite blessings of your inheritances? And I say, yes, I just open and allow. If you're not in allowance, you're trying to control the outcome. You're trying to enforce an outcome. And the miracles and the sequencing cannot get in there because you're cramping down on it. It wants to move. It wants to bring in miracles. The energies of all the blessings and all the unseen want to get in there and play and dance with you. Why won't you let them dance with you? You can't control the miracles. Let the sequencing unfold because you've placed all the good energy there. Trust that you've placed good energy in your vortex. Place that the energies in your vortex are now opening to a higher vibrational positive sequencing of events. You're going to be in a higher vibrational sequence of events because you focus and you intend every day, highest creative timeline, how can I dance and play? How can I explore? How can I express? How can I experience myself to something more? I'm here to assist the children. I'm here to assist the earth. I'm here to assist the oceans. I'm here to assist nature. How can I explore? And then let it go. Let the open ability of Source Creator to bring in higher vibrational sequencing of events. Okay, thanks. So we'll see you later, people. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to book an appointment or donation, thank you.